Joining us on Hot Country is Irish country music legend Louise Morrissey. You're very, very welcome, Louise.
Thank you, Hugh. Lovely to be here.
Louise, take us back to where it all began for you. Where were you born?
I was born in Tipperary town to be exact. And I was reared in Bancha, little village just outside Tipperary town. My parents both came from Bancha for generations back on both sides.
And your parents' name?
Angela and Jackie Morrissey.
And your brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I'm the second youngest of 6. I've got 3 brothers. My brothers Billy, Norman and John. And I've got 2 sisters, Noreen and Marie. So John and I are the 2 babies.
And what are your favourite childhood memories while you were growing up?
I suppose, Hugh, growing up on the farm, we were reared on a farm. And I have lovely memories of, you know, when I was, I don't know, maybe about 4 or 5 years of age. And we used to have hens. My mum used to always keep a few little hens. And my job would be to go out in the morning and pick up the eggs. But more often than not, I used to fall with them, bringing them in. So we hardly ever had an egg because of me falling and breaking them. But just lovely little memories like that. And helping Dad when he would go to bring in the cows, you know, that would just go down the fields with him and all that sort of thing, yeah.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Bancha National School. And then I went to secondary school in Tipperary town. I went to St. Anne's Convent of Mercy. And then I went to St. Ailbe's Vocational School for my last few years in school.
And who inspired you to become a country star?
I think, you know, growing up at home, music was a huge part of our family. My parents were both very musical, and it was just very much encouraged. It was just always there. It was just always part of life for us. And when I was a young girl, I started listening to Emmylou Harris, and I loved to watch girl singers who played guitar because, you know, I went on to learn guitar when I was 9. And then, you know, as years went on, Joan Baez and, you know, lots of other singers like that. But I suppose Emmylou was probably maybe one of the first that I kind of aspired to be.
She would be really one of your earliest musical influences.
Yeah, very much.
Can you remember the first song you recorded?
The very first song I recorded was one with my brothers, and it was Farewell to Carlingford. That was our very first single as the Morrisseys. And I always remember that, you know, being in the recording studio in Dublin, and the whole thing was all very exciting. You know, I've never been in a studio before, and, you know, you never think that you know, when you're growing up, that you'll ever sort of be in that situation yourself. But yeah, it was great, and it was great fun.
And can you remember the first time you heard yourself on radio, and where were you, and what was the song?
I suppose I was at home in the house in Bancha and would have heard Farewell to Carlingford, you know. But my first single that I recorded myself was The Night Daniel O'Donnell Came to Town, you know, my first country single. But yeah, great excitement to hear it on the radio, you know, and neighbours saying, oh, I heard you on the radio today, you know, you'd be all excited. It's great. And
Louise Morrissey, before you became a professional singer, what did you work at?
I was a trainee hairdresser. When I was going to school, you know, I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do when I was finishing up in school. But I did do trainee hairdressing for a while. I didn't qualify because the music took over. But I also had huge designs on going to art college. I always loved art in school. It was my favourite subject. And I would be very much drawn to like arts and crafts, even, you know, today. And I still think I might, you know, take up something like that just as a hobby and just to have something.
And when did you go professional in the band, or as a professional musician?
Well, as a professional singer from the age of 17. I won't tell you now how many years ago that was.
Right.
It's only a few years ago.
And can you remember where your first gig was?
The very, very first gig was now previous to actually becoming professional. Our very, very first gig I ever did was in County Tipperary. It was in the Golden Veil in Dundrum in the lounge, and it was with my brothers. And I was 12 years of age. But the first gig then professionally would have been in Barry's Hotel in Dublin.
That was with the band?
With the band.
And can you remember the lineup of the band?
I do. My brother Norman was in the band. Norman was playing bass, Billy was acoustic guitar, Brian Mulhare was keyboards, Frank Downey was lead and steel guitar, Willie O'Keefe was on drums.
A great band.
Yeah, we had a great band, great band. And no change in the band either for years, you know, and everybody just had a great time and great fun.
Of all the songs you've recorded down through the years, which 3 would be your favourites and why?
I'd have to say, Hugh, probably my 3 big Tipperary songs. Sliabh na Man, Tipperary in My Mind and Flying Home to Aherlow. Those 2 songs were written specially for me by Nick McCarthy, who was living next door to me in Bancha. And, you know, that with Sleeve Them On, those 3 songs have been very, very good to me from day one, you know, and I sing them all the time. They get requested all the time.
And what's your favourite country song of all time?
My favourite country song of all time is probably Rhinestone Cowboy, I would think. I just love it. You know, I think just the minute you hear it coming on the radio or anybody singing it, just love it.
Irish country music legend Louise Morrissey, what's your most treasured possession?
My guitar. Yeah, love my guitar.
Why?
You know, I started to learn guitar when I was 9. And, you know, Mum and Dad bought me, I remember it was a little tiny guitar, and I wish I still had it now. I don't know where it went or what became of it, but I wish I had it now. But, you know, and I had different guitars over the years, but the one I have now, my Taylor guitar, I love it. I've had it for years and years. I always wanted one, so.
And what gives you the most?
I mind it like an egg.
Right.
Yeah.
And what gives you the most satisfaction in life?
I suppose, you know, the most satisfaction is, you know, my home life, my family, and if I can make people happy, you know, doing my singing and my music, I think those are important things, and I get great happiness out of doing that.
And what has been the highlight or highlights of your career to date?
I suppose, you know, I've been very lucky that there's been a few of them over the years, but one definitely was representing Ireland in the Country Music Masters in 1990 in Switzerland against 14 other countries and winning the European Gold Star Award. And it was sort of, you know, for people who mightn't be sure what it is, it was like a country music version of the Eurovision, if you like.
Right.
And so that was a great moment. Singing at halftime in Croke Park back in 1988, that was a huge memory for me. And also I got to work with Chris Christopherson in Canada. I was his opening act on one of his big concerts in St. John's in Newfoundland, so that was all very exciting. So they're the big ones, but there's, you know, there's been lots. You know,
and Louise, what has been the
thankfully.
most embarrassing moment of your career to date?
God. I remember going up on stage one night, you know, with the band, and I was introduced on stage, and you know, you're making your grand entrance up along the hall, and I had bought this lovely dress that, I thought was lovely anyway. And it was kind of a longish dress, and when I stood up onto the stage, the heel of my shoe got caught in the hem of the dress, and I was kind of stuck. I couldn't go up or down because if I went to go up, it was going to continue to rip.
Right.
And I wasn't able to get down either, so I was kind of stuck. And the boys in the band almost collapsed laughing, and none of them came to help me. So of course and I was getting crosser by the minute as well, trying, you know, while this was going on. But you know, and everybody in the hall kind of knew as well what was going on. But anyway, I eventually managed to get up on the stage. But my lovely dress was ruined. There was a big rip on it for the night then.
Louise, what are the 3 things you can't live without?
Definitely makeup. Definitely makeup. I suppose my mobile phone. That's everywhere with me. My makeup, my phone. And I suppose my handbag, because that's everywhere with me as well. And I'd throw in a 4th one, my car.
Your car. And have you ever passed on a song only to find it become a hit by somebody else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's happened a few times over the years, yeah. You know, just different songs that I thought, God, that's fabulous. And I think that would suit me or suit my voice. And, you know, at the time, record company I was with said, no, I don't think so. There's no point in doing that now because, you know, so-and-so has it out or whatever. And next thing, somebody else will come on and record it. And you know, and it happened a few times. But you look, you know, that's the way it goes sometimes, you know.
And if you had the chance to record a song with somebody, either past or present, who would that be?
I would love to record a song with Amy Lou Harris. Yeah, definitely.
Why?
I just love her singing. I love her voice. I love her style. I love, you know, in her earlier singing, I love the sort of old style country that she does, and that's what I love. That, you know, that would be my favourite type of country. Is more the traditional. And I did get to meet her once years ago when she was in Ireland. She was at the National Concert Hall, and I got in backstage and I got to meet her, and she was lovely. She was like really, really nice. And yeah, I've often thought I'd love to get to record with her.
And Louise, any crazy fan moments during your career?
I don't know, it's kind of a hard one to answer, Hugh. I don't think I have any crazy fans, but then a little bit of craziness is nice in people too. You know, it makes people colourful, doesn't it, I think?
Right. And any pre-rituals before you go on stage?
I always say a prayer, and I always use holy water. Always.
What 3 most requested songs from your shows each night?
Definitely Sliabh na Man. September Sky is another very, very popular song, even though it's more recent. It's only out maybe, 4 years or so, but it gets requested practically every night. Another great favourite with people would be Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. Yeah, they tend to be the ones, for me anyway, you know, that people always ask for. Yeah.
And your favourite place to visit?
My favourite place to visit is County Kerry. I love Kerry.
Why?
I don't know, I just always felt, my grandmother was actually born in Kerry. Her father was working there at the time. And even though she's a Tipperary woman, but she was actually born in Dingle. And love to go down there when I get a chance.
Best compliment you ever received?
I suppose just to, you know, from various people, just to say, you know, I don't know, you're looking well or you're singing well or whatever, you know, people are very nice in general. It's kind of hard to pick one as well, you know, but people are nice generally, you know.
Right, and is there anything that you're scared of doing?
I'd love to be able to swim. And I tried everything since I've been a young girl to learn and to get over that fear of the water. And I just went for lessons everywhere, you know, to swimming pool, my local swimming pool when we were going to school. We had classes. I tried everything and I cannot get over that fear, even though I'd love to be able.
Right.
Yeah.
And the best gift you've ever received, what was that?
I don't know really. I suppose, you know, the gift of friendship really, you know, and the gift of love from my friends and from my family and my husband. And, you know, I suppose we have a lot of nice material things in life too, you know, like we work hard for what we have, all of us do. And you know, to be given things by people, you know, it is lovely. But I suppose at the end of the day, it's friendship and all those things that really are the best gifts that you can receive or give.
And the best gift you've ever given?
I'd like to think that it was my time and friendship as well.
I know you love animals. What would be your favourite animal?
I love cats. Yeah, I love cats. We always had a little cat. Well, of course, there was various cats, but, you know, growing up at home as well, there was just always a little pet cat in the house. And I remember years ago we were doing a gig in Kilkenny, and there was this little kitten was around the back of the lounge when the boys were packing up the van afterwards, and he looked like a little stray, you know, and looked like he was hungry and all that. So I picked him up and I brought him home on my lap in the van. And I remember the lads, they were all starving on the way home, so they stopped at a takeaway. So we got him a sausage. So he ate the sausage on the way home on my lap. But we had him for years and years. I called him Kenny, short for Kilkenny. But anyway, no, but I love cats. I don't have one at the moment, but I intend to get one.
What's the one piece of advice, Louise, you were given either growing up or when you became involved in the music business that you actually, you know, listened to and followed?
Yeah. Just to be yourself and you know, as my father used to say, like, don't be running away with yourself now, you know, that sort of thing. You know, take advice from people. If people are trying to help you, you know, listen to them. You know, listen to other people, what they have to say, and if they're trying to help you and advise you in life, you know, and, you know, because it does you no harm, really, you know. And
if you weren't a country star, what would you have done? What would your job have been?
I think probably what I mentioned earlier on about, you know, going to art college and doing something like that, or a hairdresser, you know, because I always love to work with my hands and, you know, doing, you know, some people are great with their brains and it's all, you know, books and they're great, you know, at that. But you know, for me it was always like trying to make things or do things with my hands, and that's all. So I would see myself, if I wasn't a singer, which I love, you know, that maybe to go down that road.
Is there anything that you don't like about being in the spotlight?
Not really. Well, I suppose, well, not being in the spotlight as much, but like it's to do with the business, it's the travelling, to do with the actual business that, you know, that I'm in and you're in, and you know, a lot of the singers and the bands out there, you know, travelling is really, I suppose, the part that nobody likes. But actually being in the spotlight, I suppose I don't kind of think about it either. You know, I just get on with it and I do it. And I always figure the day that people will stop taking any notice of you, well, then you know you're in trouble and it's time to hang up your boots or your cowboy hat at that stage. But thankfully it hasn't happened yet.
And when you're not on the road, what are your hobbies?
I love being at home. I love my home life. And I love to go for walks, you know, living out in the country, and love to go off for a walk, weather permitting most days. I just love meeting up with my friends and going out for meals and, you know, meeting up with people, go for a few drinks and that sort of thing. Just normal stuff, really.
What's your star sign?
I'm an Aries.
And your favourite colour?
Red.
Your favourite item of clothing?
I love dresses. Yeah, like feminine, floaty dresses.
Right.
Yeah, they mightn't always suit me, but I love them. And I love to see them on, you know, when I'm on stage and I'm admiring, you know, the style and people coming into the gigs, you know, I'd be there singing away and I say, oh God, her dress is gorgeous, or, you know, I would always sort of notice things like that, yeah.
What advice would you give to new artists starting off in the business?
Yeah. Again, I suppose, you know, keep a head on your shoulders. Don't be afraid to take a little bit of constructive criticism from anybody who's out there, you know, trying to help you. Don't believe in your own publicity, your own hype, you know, things like that. Just keep a head on your shoulders, believe in yourself. And if it's your dream, you know, just follow your dream and take every opportunity that you can get.
You've had many, many hit records down through the years. How do you go about picking a song? How do you go about picking a song and it eventually becomes a hit? Have you some formula that you go through and you listen to and you adhere to?
Well, I get sent a lot of songs, Hugh, and I listen to a lot of music as well. You know, between having the radio on all the time at home, the house, or the minute I sit into the car, the radio goes on and I'm changing channels depending on where I'm driving in the country and listen to the various, you know, country music shows. You know, anybody who sends me stuff, I listen as well. And I could listen to maybe 1,000 songs, but there might be only one would jump out, because I don't know how, but I would just know that'll suit me, that'll suit my style, or that'll suit my voice, or whatever. I always feel, you know, and if it's something, if the chorus of a song, it's important as well, that, you know, people, when they tune in or they listen straight away, that it'll kind of jump out at them and that they can join in and sing along. It's always a great sign of a song, if you like, you know, that you've got a good number there. I don't know, I suppose it'd be just sort of lucky with the songs I've chosen over the years. As I said, you know, I could be sent hundreds, but there's only maybe one. And I mightn't record anything again for a good while again, but until I get that other one that'll just stand out to me again.
So you're always listening out for the next hit?
Always listening. Sure, everybody is, you know, we're always waiting for that next song.
Yeah. And you make regular concert appearances in the UK as well as in Ireland. Do you like that?
I do. I love it. I love the concerts, Hugh. Now, I mean, I had great times over the years with the dances, and, you know, people were great to come out and support me and all that. But I have to say that I love the concerts, and I love working on the shows with different singers as well, because, you know, they're great fun. And, you know, there's a big tour coming up, you know, in the UK, the Stars of Irish Country. This would be my 3rd year being part of that tour, and I absolutely love it. And it's all theatres around England and around Scotland, and just great, and love getting out there afterwards, meeting the people and chatting to people. I just love working with different people.
You also make regular appearances in the United States and in Canada.
Yeah, Newfoundland. I've been over there several times, and all going well. Get to go over there again in the near future. And
you've been to Australia in recent times?
I was in Australia twice. Again, I loved it. It's just the downfall, it's so far away. The flight is so long. But it's a beautiful country, and, you know, the people out there, they love the Irish country music scene. They're very tuned in to what's happening here with the Irish singers and the Irish bands. And I just met a lot of lovely people, and you keep in touch with a lot of people out there, and I hope to go back sometime again. No plans just at the moment, but please God, sometime. Never say never, as they say.
The business has changed a lot since you first started out on the road. Is that for the better, or is it for the worse?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, we have a lot of new bands on the road since I started. You know, I mean, I celebrated 30 years in the country music scene last year. So, you know, and it's been great to me over the years. And through that time, you know, it's great to see new singers coming along, new talent. And I suppose a lot of them now are maybe going a slightly different road, you know, that they're doing the crossover American country, you know, as well as the Irish. You know, I would have been more Irish and country and Irish. But it's great to see it. I would never say it's a bad thing. It's great to see new talent coming along all the time, new musicians. They're all making their living. It's their livelihood, you know, they're paying their way in life, paying their bills, and you know, so it's great, and it's just great to see the enthusiasm that's there with all, you know, the new young singers out there, and the new young audience that's coming along as well. You know, like some of the festivals where they'll have a mixture of, they'll have, say, myself, and then they might have, you know, Cleona, and you know, Cleona has got a different audience, you know, to me, but still when the people are there, they're enjoying both, and they're getting a chance to see all sorts of people, you know, across the board in the country music scene, you know, of all age groups.
Louise Morrissey, you've got a lot of loyal fans. Do you have a message especially for them?
I have indeed. People have been so good to me over the years. You know, I suppose country music fans are definitely very, very loyal people. You know, you've all been very good to me throughout my career. I really, really appreciate it. And I thank you all for the support you've given me, and I look forward to meeting you all along the way. And Hugh, you've been always very good to me as well.
I'm sure you've been most welcome, I can assure you that, Louise. And finally, Louise, what's next for Louise Morrissey?
I hope to stay going, Hugh, for as long as I can. You know, I'm loving what I do, and you know, there's lots of nice things happening, you know, next year, and nice trips and nice tours and guest spots on different shows and all that, and I plan to do some more recording and some more videos and all of that. So please God, you know, that as long as I can stay going.
And it's mostly concerts you're doing these days, isn't it?
Mostly concerts, yeah. The odd dance guest appearance, but yeah, mostly concerts.
And would you have a preference for concerts?
I suppose maybe at this stage, I have to be honest and say I do, because I love the fact that they're on early and they're over earlier, so I get home a little bit earlier as well, you know, and you know, it's that makes a difference. You know, the dances are great, but you know, it's a much later night, and if you're far away, it's all hours when you get home and all that. But still, having said that, the minute I get on the stage, I'm as happy as Larry.
Louise Morrissey, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and continued success to you.
Thank you very much, Hugh, and thanks for inviting me along today.